You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
But now let's talk about transition defense. There was a moment in this game where Georgetown in the second half took an 8-point lead. It was their largest lead of the game, 8 points. And Kevin Brown, the broadcaster of the game, he literally called out, "Where's the Syracuse defense?" It was off a turnover, which is, you don't want to turn the ball over on offense, obviously. But sometimes there are possessions where you turn it over, there's someone on Georgetown already streaking down the floor, and there's nothing you can do. But on this particular instance, which gave Georgetown an 8-point lead, its largest of the game, they had plenty of time to get back. You can go watch the play over again. It was with, I think, less than 12 minutes to go in the game, somewhere in that range. Just find where Syracuse was trailing by 8 points at one point in the second half. It was right then and there. They had plenty of time to get back on defense. But only one guy gets back, and it leads to an easy layup. And that's why Kevin Brown had to say, "Where's the Syracuse defense?" It was all game long. Georgetown had 19 fast break points compared to 5 for just Syracuse. That's why Georgetown killed Syracuse technically by statistics in the paint. They had 48 paint points, but 19 of them came on the fast break. I don't remember them hitting a fast break 3 or a transition 3. It was all inside the paint. And also it's misleading because I told you the free throw numbers. Syracuse controlled the paint. But the reason why Georgetown won the paint battle is because of the transition defense, which was non-existent. And I'm going to give Coach Autry a little bit of a break here. I just hammered him in the last segment for the late game execution because that really does boil down sometimes to coaching. Awareness, IQ, knowing what to do, knowing what plays to run. That's coaching. But in this particular instance, at halftime, the broadcast said it. Adrian Autry was telling his guys, you got to get back on defense. It's that saying where a coach can only lead a horse to water, right? If I have a horse, I can only lead the horse to water. I can't force the horse to drink. And Coach Autry is telling him, you got to get back on defense. What's he supposed? Message not received, clearly. Very rarely do I do something like this, where I ask the question, who wants it more? Most of the time, it's because, or really the reason why I don't usually do this is because I feel like it's a lazy take to ask like, who wants it more? Or the winner of this game is going to be who wants it more. No, most of the time, the winner of a game is determined by who executes. Which in this case, late game execution. That's what it came to. It wasn't late game effort. Late game execution is what ultimately decided the game, right? But in terms of getting back on defense in transition off a turnover, that's energy and effort. That's where you can really ask, well, who wants it more? And I have no doubt in my mind that Syracuse basketball wanted to win this game badly. You can tell. They showed fight. They showed effort. They were trying. I appreciate it. There's just one problem. You tried the second most on the court. There was a team who gave just a little bit more effort than you did. Because your team did not get back on defense in transition. Georgetown, 19-5 in fast break points. You're not going to win many games like that. I thought their half-court defense, honestly, for Syracuse in this game, wasn't terrible. Especially in that second half when it looked like they were kind of pulling away a little bit. At one point, the Orange turned an 8-point deficit into a 6-point lead. It was their half-court defense that was terrific. I mean, Jyare Davis and Lucas Taylor, they were dogs out there. But you wanted it the second most when it came to getting back on defense. That's the problem. What more do you want me to say? What more do you want me to say? Because I'm at a loss for words. And again, I'm kind of giving Coach Autry a break because what's he supposed to do? Tell him to not get back on defense? I mean, he's telling them to get back on defense. They weren't. 19-5. When the broadcaster has to say, where's the Syracuse defense? Kevin Brown, by the way, is a Syracuse alum. Now, he's neutral when he calls these games. Totally. He does an excellent job. He was fair. He's unbiased. If you didn't know that, you probably wouldn't have had a clue that he's a Syracuse alum. But he is. And even he's saying, where's the Syracuse defense in transition? It was bad.